happily ever after. That's going to be my new approach to life, I think. Choose the reality you want, go with it. That is actually also the strategy of our next storyteller. But in her case, it's a situation of the universe sometimes, decides to shake things up for you and see what you're going to do with it. So please welcome Yuyu.
It was a Sunday. I got up earlier than usual to get ready to go on a hike. However, I realized something was not right with my head. The left side of my head feels blocked. It feels heavy, a bit like when you just get off the airplane. Although I'm not sure how many of you still remember how it feels to be on an airplane. I walk out of the door, put on some music, and I noticed the left side of the volume was very low. Something's wrong with my headset. I swapped. That's when I realized, oh, it seems that I'm not hearing very well in my left ear. I must be tired. I got up too early. It could be just like a headache. It will go away. I went on with my hike. At night, when I came back home, the blockage did not go away. And on top of that, I started to hear a constant buzzing noise, like an aircon in my head. Monday morning, when I woke up, things were getting worse. I could barely hear in my left ear, and the blockage and the aircon expanded to my right side as well. I started panicking. I went to see an ENT specialist right away. He did a test for me on the spot. I waited anxiously in his office for the result. The diagnosis? Bilateral sensorineural hearing loss. I've never heard of that term before. My left ear was at a severe level, and my right ear was moderate. The doctor told me that this situation is very often caused by virus attacking hearing nerves. He asked for my medical history. None. I've always been super healthy, no problem, no medication. What happened lately? Were you sick? No, I wasn't. The only thing I could remember is I got my vaccination 2 weeks ago, the first dose. Oh, that explains. The doctor told me that the vaccination is known to cause facial paralysis, while the facial nerves and the hearing nerves are right next to each other. If it can attack one, it can well attack the other. He went on to tell me that since the symptom had just started, we don't know yet if it's already at the bottom. My heart sank a bit. What are my chances of recovery? I asked. Well, a third of people will fully recover. A third will improve, but won't go back to 100%. Another third might never recover. I took a deep breath. Okay, I'm going to be in the first third. I went back home with my medicine. My cats were meowing, but their voice sounded low and far away. That night, I couldn't sleep. I tossed and turned in bed. I wanted to play some music to relax and noticed something very eerie. The phone was in my left hand while the sound came from the right side, which means there was nothing anymore in my left ear. I was drowning in huge fear. What if tomorrow morning when I wake up, I also lose my right side? What if this world becomes completely silent? What if I completely lose connection with this world? My heart was pumping, my hands and feet were sweating. I kept rubbing my right ear just to test if I could still hear anything at all. The next morning, after a sleepless night, I I stood in front of the mirror and told myself, okay, let's see. I can still hear. My right ear is still partially working. I can still more or less function in life. I must take actions immediately. I started sending out messages asking for help. I'm a healer. I'm fortunate that many of my friends and colleagues are specialized in alternative therapy, and many of them offered help. Apart from running healing energy in myself, I started to receive healing sessions intensively from others. Reiki, NLP, body talk, Yuyu method, homeopathy, craniosacral, etc. Thursday, I went back to the doctor for another hearing test. This time, my left ear has dropped to a profound level, which means I'm basically deaf on the left side. But the good news is, my right ear didn't deteriorate any further. It stabilized. I felt a big relief. At least I still have my right ear. I continued with my intensive healing and started to look at this issue from a more holistic perspective. Could there be any underlying emotional issues that have contributed to this problem? I had a small business in South Africa. It's been suffering a lot since the COVID, and eventually I had to shut it down. In the past few months, a lot of drama had happened over there. Bad news was coming in almost on a daily basis. It was extremely stressful and draining for me. I was literally telling myself, I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear anything from South Africa. I purposely deactivated my email and mute my phone to escape from hearing anything. Therefore, when there was an external toxin being injected into my body decided to shut down my hearing. I realized there's a lot of emotional issues surrounding it needs to be healed. Anger, sadness, fear, and forgiveness. A very important lesson to learn is, do I just allow myself to be overcome by fear and worry and stress? I focus on my healing. Try not to give any space to worry and fear. I'm convinced that I will fully recover. Saturday morning, it's been a week since the symptoms started. I was playing some music through a mini speaker. I put the speaker next to my left ear and covered my right ear. Yes, I could hear music in my left ear. It was low, but it was definitely coming in. I could even understand the lyrics. The song was Coldplay's Yellow. I came along, I wrote a song for you. That was probably the most beautiful melody I've ever heard. For the first time since the incident, I cried. I had never really understood how to be grateful for what I already have until I lost it. Tears rolling down on my cheeks. I had never felt such immense gratitude. Thank you very much.
You can probably tell, but I'll just fill in. She has recovered since. We're all very thankful. In the last 18 months, I think a lot of